So in this video, I'm going to share with you a life-changing belief that worked for me, a ton of advisors, and hopefully for you as well. And also the reason and explanation behind why when people tell us to go for the things that we want, it's also the same reason why we don't achieve it. Okay, so hi guys, what is up? If you're new to this channel, my name is Benjamin Ong and I'm the CEO of 2XYZ. I've created this channel because there's a lot of financial advisors out there that are either broke or making tons of money but yet unhappy. Okay, and I hope that some of the lessons that I have learned while documenting my own process and journey would be able to help you become happier, purposeful, and wealthy. So one of this belief I just came across it a couple of months ago, and I started to realize that this was a belief that I kind of have, but I didn't realize it. And now that I'm more aware of this, it literally just changed and make it even more obvious on the way that I do business, do sales and everything else, right? And the belief or the principle here is this: life move in angles. Okay, so I repeat, the principle is life move in angles. So the best analogy that just to illustrate this is very simple, right? So just imagine that here is like the goal. Okay, this is the goal, and this is kind of like the where you are right now, right? And this is the goal. How do you think, or what do you think is the fastest way to go from here, which is where you are right now, to your goal? And let's say the goal is number of appointments, it could be commissions, it could be awards, whatever it is, right? So the question is, what is the fastest way going from here, where you are right now, to here? Now, obviously, the answer is a straight line, right? It goes from here to here directly. That is the fastest way that you can get there. But here is the thing. The thing is that life doesn't work that way. If you want more commissions, if you want more awards, MDRT and all that stuff, it doesn't work that way. You cannot just think of going in a straight line because life just doesn't work that way. So what life requires us to do is that life moves in angles. So in order for you to get the awards, the results, and the appointments, or whatever it is that you desire or that you want, you need to do something. You need to go in this angle before you get it. Right? So I repeat, if you want to go for something that you really, really want, you don't go for it directly. You can keep one eye on the goal, but what you need to do is that you need to do something in an angle, then you can get it. So I give you an example, right? In order for you to get, you need to give. Right? You need to give, then you can get. We all know the principle. You need to give, then you can get, right? The more you give, the more you get. So you have to move in angles, you see? Another one, right? Like if you want appointments and passive inquiries from social media, like people DMing you, then saying that they want to meet you for insurance and they want to buy from you. If you want that, what do you first need to do? You need to post valuable content out there, engage people, talk to them, build relationship. Then you'll get it. So if you want appointments and passive inquiries, you need to post content, you need to do, right? You need to give something. You need to give value. You need to talk to people, build relationship. Then you get it. So if you are, let's say, a manager and you want your guys to listen to you or respect you or whatever it is or do well and whatnot, you need to do something, then you get it, right? You need to maybe do more trainings. Maybe you need to coach them more. Maybe you need to give them more support. Then you get your guys to listen to you, respect you, or even earn more money or whatever it is, right? This is like the biggest one that that I kind of like realized this belief, and this is something I just want to share with you guys because this is like I'm so excited about it, right? Because if you understand like this entire principle of like life move in angles, right? Like if you want to go after a guy or go after a girl, if you're a guy and then you're going after a girl, for example, you don't just straight go for the girl, right? Like you need to probably do something before the girl would even, or the lady would even bother about you, right? Maybe you need to buy her flowers, maybe you need to spend time with her, maybe you need to care for her first. Then you get it, right? It's the same thing. Like if you today you want to close the sale, let's say you're doing sales right now in a 1 appointment or 2 appointment, and this is literally like you want to close, right? That's what you want. Now instead of looking at how to close directly, like how to go for the close, you probably want to give something, right? Maybe you need to diagnose their problems, maybe you need to educate them, maybe you give some form of value, then you get the close. That makes sense? So if you start to realize this, life moves in angles, and if you start to consider the flip side of it, which is most of the time where we have a goal, we want more appointments, more money, more closing, higher closing ratio, more passive leads, whatever, more passive referrals and things like that, right? Every single time we think of like how to get there directly, chances are it doesn't work out the best, right? You imagine like those kind of times where you have a sales target hanging over your head and all you can think about is how can I reach my 5K goal? How can I reach my 10K goal? Which is a great question, right? But the question also leads us to think of the number, think of all the goals, think of all the number of appointments we need. It doesn't lead us to think about what we need to give or what we need to do before we can get there. This is also the reason why it's so important, and I'm so passionate about this, because this principle, once we understand this, affects the way we think and therefore the questions we ask. So if we understand that life moves in angles, instead of asking, hey, how can I get more appointments? How can I get more passive leads? How can I get more income? Etc., etc. You can change that question to, what can I do or give such that I can have more appointments? What can I value add to people, and how can I do that such that there is a chance that will lead me to more appointments, sales, and closing? What can I give to this prospect such that there is a chance and the byproduct of this action will lead to this person replying me and even wanting to buy from me? So you realize that the question is just it's just a very slight subtle nuance, but that change and in the phrasing, right, changes all the answers and the questions that you'll get, or you're going to ask, and the answers that you'll get, right? Because the questions we ask are a reflection of our thoughts and the way we think. And the way we think, if you realize the question is asking is, hey, how do I get more appointment? How do I do more to do this? How do I earn my MDRT? How can I blah, blah, blah? Instead of thinking that way, think of what can you do? What can you give? Right? Because we all know the principles, right? Life moves in angles, and you need to give before you can get. This is a big one that once you understand this, it will change the way you do business, right? Instead of okay, how can I get my passive lead? Think of what kind of content can I put out there such that my audience will find it valuable, and there is a chance that they will DM me, or there's a chance they will reach out to me. That is the question we want to ask, because that will, in fact, lead us to the goal, even though it's form of indirect. You need to give something you forget. It's kind of like an indirect thing, right? Even though you feel like it's longer, but it's also faster, because this is how life works. So don't ever fall into the trap of wanting something and then more often than not have zero intentions to not give anything in the first place, right? I mean, there's a ton of times where I receive the question of how do I get more this? How do I get more blah, blah, blah? How can I get the prospect to buy from me? And it's kind of you realize the question about how can I get the prospect to say yes? How can I get the prospect to buy from me? Not that's a wrong question, but you realize that it's moving. The whole idea is that how can I do this? How can I get them to do this? But if you really think about what can I say, or how can I phrase my questions in a way that will allow the prospect to say yes, then it's kind of on you, right? It's kind of what can you do or give or say and everything else, right? It puts the ownership on you. And when you ask questions like this, you'll get a clearer answer that is more helpful in getting the results that you want. Okay? So the biggest problem with a lot of advisors, especially when they first start, right, is that there are so many people that's kind of struggling to get what they want because they're thinking through the wrong frame, right? They're seeing through the wrong lenses. And if let's say for some reason or another, and I hope that is not you, but let's say if that is you and you're kind of struggling right now, you're not getting the appointments in, the income is not coming in and everything else, it's because you most likely have a different way of thinking, which is you're constantly thinking of how to get more commissions, productions, and how to upsell, cross-sell, and everything else, right? Which is about the taking. It's about how can I take, how can I ask, how can I blah, blah, blah. And you're kind of on this path to travel directly from here to the goal that you want directly. And therefore, it's kind of a lot of asking, a lot of taking. And, again, life is about giving before you get, right? You give and then you get. Okay, so you kind of get the goal that you want and move towards there by doing something else. And that is usually by giving something in exchange for something, right? And hopefully is obviously one that is of value, right? And there's this law I read in the book, right? It's called Go Giver, right? And one of the first law is what we call the law of value. And I mean, I have it here on my desk, right? But I put it on a post-it, right? So the law of value states that your true worth, right, is determined, okay, by how much more you give in value than you take in payments. So if you really want to have a higher level of compensation and income and everything else, it's really a reflection of how much value you give first before you take in payment. So how much more you give before you ask. Okay? And this is why this is one of the biggest ones when I started read books and I started to have this concept and everything just matches up nicely together, right? It is really a universal law that you must give to get, and therefore life really moves in angles. So even right now, if I want your attention, and let's say that's my goal, I want your attention, then I need to give something in value first, right? The things I'm saying, hopefully is of value, I need to do that first before I can get your attention. Because if I don't give you anything value and I start talking shit and crap and a lot of things, you will probably not give me attention and leave me alone, and you probably go and watch something else, right? This is like, again, life move in angles, right? So again, let me have to reiterate, like if you want the sale, first you need to give more value, you need to educate or even solve a problem for your prospects, right? If you want more appointments, you need to give away free things, educate people, lead magnets, spend your time and energy building relationships, right? Which is a form of giving your energy and time to other people. Again, value. Then you get the resources. If you want success, right? You want success, you need to put in the work. You need to value add to people. You need to put in the hours and effort before you get it, right? And this is literally just the way it is, okay? And this entire belief really changed. The belief change really just got me more concrete in terms of my thinking, in a totally different frame of like, what can I do to provide value? What can I give so that I can get to that desired outcome? So that there is a chance that I might get to the desired outcome, right? It's not a necessary like it's our guaranteed to get the outcome, but like what can I do to provide the value so that I get a higher chance and possibility that I get to that desired outcome in mind. So again, life always moves in angles, and the next time when you want to go for whatever you want, if you want to go for you want to try to get appointments, right? Remember like literally these 3 principles, and just want to sum it up, right? So the first one is life moves in angles. Secondly is you need to give to get. And number 3, no one has ever become poorer by giving. So I hope these 3 things really sticks with you and is of some value to you, and probably hopefully give you a different lens through which you want to see your business and how you want to conduct your advisory business as well, right? So I hope this framework or kind of like mental model thinking serves you well, and let me know in the comments if this is useful. Okay, so lots of love. See you in the next video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Lots of love. See you and take care.